Yo guys, what is going on? It's Shane here, back with another video on my channel, and today I'm bringing you guys a little bit of a different video. So what you guys usually used to seeing are vlogs on this channel, but I wanted to share something with you guys, and some of you guys may have noticed this in my vlogs. I mean, I'm not sure if I've really pointed it out at all before, but I actually have a skin disease that's known as vitiligo. So this video isn't like trying to raise awareness for it. This is pretty much just telling you guys what what I have to deal with the skin disease and stuff like that. But yeah, so let's just hop right into it. Okay, so what is vitiligo? So vitiligo is an autoimmune disease in which your skin can't produce pigment. So in that case, that means that your skin will just get lighter patches. I mean, there's a lot of different versions of it. Like, there's obviously lightening skin. Like everybody's gonna get skin that's lighter in some places, but with vitiligo, it's a lot more easier to point out. And also, I mean, I think it's only 3 million people have it worldwide. I think it's actually between 1 to 3 million. So it's pretty rare in terms of numbers. Not very rare, but it's not a very common disease. I know that there's a couple people, if you go online and look it up, they actually have it a lot worse than I do, because mine, in my opinion, it's barely noticeable. I mean, I don't get too marred by it or anything like that. People at school might point it out once or twice, but it's noticeable. I just want to say that it's noticeable. But anyway, so if you guys ever see some of my vlogs, you might see underneath my left eye right here, I don't know how well you're going to see it in this light, and on the left side of my neck here, you guys may see a little bit of a patch of lighter skin. So that is what vitiligo is. So pretty much what happened was during the summer of going into sophomore year in high school, I was playing a soccer game, and I remember during that game I actually fractured. No, I didn't fracture. I sprained my ankle, and a couple days later I had to go to my doctor, and they had to recommend the stuff for it. And it was weird because during that time I also had a dot right here, right where the vitiligo is, but I thought it was a pimple, and I kind of picked at it a little bit, and then it just kind of fell off in the middle of nowhere, and I was just like, what was that? And I realized that was what I thought was the pimple. So after I realized that, I went to the doctor, and she said that you might want to get this checked out. And I was like, what is it? And she's like, it looks like something called ringworm laceration. I was no idea what that was. I had no medical knowledge or any medicinal knowledge of what that was. But pretty much what happened was, after I picked at it, the thing, I put some coconut oil on it once or twice a week, and I just thought it was some kind of weird case of sunburn or something like that. And then during, I would say maybe quarter way through my sophomore year, I noticed that skin patch was really turning a light color. This is my skin tone right now. It looked like it was white, and I was like, whoa, what is this? I didn't know what it was at the time. And then what happened was, and bear in mind, I still had a sprained ankle, so I was walking around school with a boot on. Not only that, there's a patch of lighter skin on my face that everybody's kind of staring at. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I went to the doctor after that, and I went to the dermatologist, and they recommended this cream called Elidel, and Elidel actually helped it a lot, because if you guys see it on my face now, obviously you guys probably aren't going to see it too well in this light. It's not the best here in my room, but anyway, with that skin patch being so light, they recommended a cream which kind of acted as a protector slash somewhat of a healer, because it helped restore the pigment in that area. And by the way, guys, I never mentioned this, I don't think, when I talked about what vitiligo is. It doesn't hurt me at all. I don't have any physical damage to it. Doesn't really do any physical damage to me. As for my body, aside from sunburn, obviously when your skin is a lot lighter, you're more prone to sunburn, which makes sense. So if I'm out in the beach during the summer, and it's I mean, I'll get sunburn in there, but I just have to put extra in that spot, and it's not too big of a deal. But back to what I was saying with vitiligo, the cream that I used was actually really effective. Also, I was put on a diet for a year, which involved me eating pretty much no sugar and no gluten, and that was a little hard being a teenager, because all teenagers really just like to eat sugar, and especially gluten. I was really drawn back by how many things actually have gluten in them. So it's I couldn't go to like McDonald's and just get a hamburger or a cheeseburger there, and you're just like, oh well, what am I supposed to do now? But yeah, I had to stick with that for a year, and luckily it did get better. I want to say I actually had it in multiple places aside from on my face and on the side of my neck. Obviously it's still there, but those were the worst parts. There was a spot on my hand right here around my wrist, and there was a spot underneath my chin that was a lot lighter. So I was just like, oh god, like all these kids are gonna look at me, and they're gonna like stare at me. I mean, luckily, it wasn't that bad. People were just like, oh my gosh, what happened? And I was just like, I actually lied and I said I got elbowed there. I did get elbowed there, but it's like I didn't really want to expose it because I think people would just be confused with the name. I mean, some people, like, I tell them what it is today and they're just like, what? And I don't bother getting into it. But yeah, so pretty much after the diet, got a lot better. Aside from that, the cream actually ran out. So, but the good thing about vitiligo is once you treat it, I mean, there's no cure for it. It's just an autoimmune disease. It just happens. Like, I don't know how mine happened, but yeah, I don't know how my case happened and stuff like that. But anyway, like after the cream like worked, like it just stayed there. Like the pink that's on that's on the side of my face or like right underneath my left eye, it got to a certain point and then it didn't get worse, but it didn't get better. So it's like I'm kind of okay with it. I mean, obviously right now it's like winter time, so it's like people don't really have like a tan or anything like that. So when you're like in school and stuff like that, like obviously like your skin's going to be a little bit lighter because you're not really exposed to the sun during the winter as much because seasons change and stuff like that. But yeah, I thought it was interesting because like now like people don't notice it at all because it's weird how it works like that because of like the winter and stuff like that. And I've had people ask me about this one because the one on my neck is a lot more noticeable than the one on my face, and that's because like I don't know why, but it seems like there's two spots actually on my neck where it is. And, it's like with the cream and stuff like that, it's a little hard to reach because I would have to turn my neck and like look into my mirror and stuff like that. And I mean, I didn't get it every time, so it hasn't like gotten to the point where my vitiligo is under my left eye. But getting back to what I was saying about what was I talking about? The summer, I think. Yeah. Like I was talking about the seasons change and stuff like that. Nowadays, people don't notice it, and it's like it's good because it's like I don't really like to have it pointed out, but although like whenever I talk to my parents about it sometimes it's like they say, you know what, don't worry about it too much because I actually agree with them when they say this and they say it gives you a little bit of character, which I think is true because it's like, there's no fun in being normal. It's like what's the point? It's just like, oh, you're just going, doing what everybody else is doing. It's like there's no fun in that, like, or you just look like everybody else and it's like I don't want to look average. It's like I just, I think it's like a unique kind of, it's like a unique little bit of a character in me. But also going back to the spots on here, people have asked if there's scars and stuff like that. And, obviously not wanting to tell them I have a skin disease, I told them, yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I got a scar from a paintball or something like that. Even though I never went paintballing before, believe it or not. But something interesting about me, I've never gone paintballing. But aside from paintball, after the fact that, like they noticed this, it was just like, all right, well, I actually stopped the diet after a year, and she said, you know what, my pediatrician told me that, like, okay, it seems to be working, but you've ran out of this cream, and my dermatologist told me I ran out of the cream, and my pediatrician with the whole diet thing was just like, okay, well, we'll see you back in a year, and they didn't give me any further instructions, so, I mean, and luckily, I mean, I don't know how many people it's happened to, but some people like who have vitiligo will eat like one thing that completely like just brings it back. And luckily, I've been able to eat for about 2 years now, pretty much whatever I want. I mean, not to say, I obviously eat on the healthy side. I mean, look at me, I'm like skinny and stuff like that. So, but even though like I'm on the healthy side, it's like I don't want to really risk it eating all the sugar and junk food. So it's like I don't really like to eat all those sugary snacks and all like I don't really drink soda either because it's like it's really bad for you. So it's like occasionally I'll have like a candy bar, like a Kit Kat or something like that, or like Sour Patch Kids or something like that. But that's because they're my favorite candy. But anyway, with saying that, like it goes to show, and this is pretty much the main point, is that I'm kind of trying to get to you guys about like lifestyle choice and stuff like that. If you eat healthy, and I'm not saying this wasn't caused by like any junk food eating or stuff like that. Like, trust me, I follow not some. I don't really take a diet per se. I don't really follow one, but I just kind of eat what I want, but usually it's on the healthy side because just like I don't really like to eat like McDonald's or Burger King or Chick-fil-A like all the time. It's like, yeah, I'll have it like once in a while, but it's like I don't do it to the extent that some people in the US do, and that's why the US has one of the highest obesity rates in the world, which is a little sad when you think about it. But anyway, it just goes to show you that like you can prevent some lifestyle diseases, or even just some diseases that just happen, like my vitiligo. Again, going back to the thing, my diet was pretty much the same when this happened, but if you guys, if you guys cut out the inflammatory foods like sugar, gluten, or like if you just cut out like stuff that's natural, is gonna help your body be better, or pretty much just like let your body function properly. Like when you eat all that preservative junk and all those like hamburgers that have like a bunch of preservatives and carbs and all that stuff, and you don't really work it off, then it's gonna eventually catch up to you guys. So I just wanted to put this out there just for anybody who may be struggling with perhaps some obesity problems or problems at school that because of like their appearance or anything like that. Don't worry about it, all right? Just be yourself and don't worry about what other people think, because honestly, it'll get to you really quick. I know it got to me with the vitiligo, but luckily I was able to kind of, get used to it, and then eventually people just kind of stop doing it. I mean, then again, you may not be on the same path that I am, but if anybody who's like afraid, to go out there with any like without makeup on or whatever it may be, it's like, don't worry about that shit. It's like it doesn't matter what you're wearing. It's just like why would you want to cover up like what's really on the inside? Like there's no point in that, because once you cover up stuff on the outside, your inside gets covered up and you don't bring out your true self. So I just wanted to say this because vitiligo has pretty much brought out the the truth in me, and it's kind of helped me express myself. I mean, I used to be like a pretty, I'm not gonna say shy, but I wasn't like the most popular kid in school. I wasn't lonely. It was just like kind of in the middle. And obviously, I'm not trying to peak in high school or anything, all that crap. But I just wanted to say that it just goes to show that like making the right choices, and sometimes when life throws something at you when you least expect it. Like I remember my freshman year, like I had a great time during the summer, and then at the end of the summer, like this happened. You're like, oh well, this is a terrible end of the summer. It just shows that life will throw these curveballs at you when you least expect them, and when you least expect them, that's when you gotta act. And I acted in a way that brought out my true self, and now I've made a lot more friends. I exercise a lot more. I am definitely eating healthier than I somewhat used to. My grades have improved a lot, which is all part of the fact that if you guys might see it in the back there, you can say positivity is key. That's pretty much my motto for everything. It's like no matter what situation, it's like if you stay positive about it, it's gonna work out. Like I can almost guarantee that any situation you come across, if you come across it with an open mind and positivity, it will work out. So trust me, guys, whenever you come across bad situations, don't panic. Just stay positive about it. Or if you failed a test, or if your girlfriend broke up with you, or you're having financial troubles, or or it's like you have a disease like me. I mean, obviously my disease is pretty benign, but if you guys have a disease or anything like that, just remember to stay positive about it, because it can really just bring out the true self in you, and that's definitely happened with me. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much gonna end the video.